Soccer in 60. I'm your host, Tim Kolacz, and get ready to be taken around the professional soccer landscape of greater Los Angeles today. We'll have a great look at the LAFC game against the Colorado Rapids on a beautiful day in Denver. We'll hop over to a dreary weather game at Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson with the LA Galaxy and see if their unbeaten streak can continue. We'll have a great special guest today from the Empire Strykers, their captain, Israel Cisse, and discuss the end of their season and what to look forward to in the 2025 Major Arena Soccer League season from him and the team. Then Angel City took on the Kansas City Current on a sun-drenched day in Kansas City. It's like everybody stole Southern California's weather and doesn't want to give it back to us. We still have rain. We still have a blustery day here in LA. We need some sunshine back. Then we'll finish up with the Orange County SC and their tilt against FC Tulsa. And we'll finish out the show with some comments about the El Trafico match this weekend. Joining me this week is my co-host, Christian Fillian. Chris, Philly, what's happening on this blustery day in SoCal?
What's going on, Tim? Hello, everybody watching and/or listening to Soccer in 60. We got a whole bunch of fun stuff to talk about, games to recap, an awesome game to preview. It is rivalry week here in Southern California, so looking forward to getting started about chatting about that. But you said it, man. This weather's been kind of weird. It's been a tease. I didn't leave the Northeast to see weather as dreary as this. I came expecting 70 degrees at worst with some sunshine and some palm trees. But what do I know, right? I'm just a kid from Queens, New York.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I moved here from Michigan and, I went from 84 inches of snow a year to trying to have 84 degrees in the middle of April. Come on, get on with it already, weather.
You're not wrong. You came from a far colder land than I do. I once dated a girl from the great state of Michigan. I'll tell you what, they can keep those winters.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to get right into let's get right into the LAFC game this last weekend in Denver.
Rough game if you're a fan and a supporter of LAFC going into Dick's Sporting Goods Park. Historically, LAFC has had a pretty good run against the Colorado Rapids with 6 wins, a draw, and 3 losses. Their most recent encounter dating back to August 23rd, a game in which LAFC absolutely put the beat down on the Rapids 4-0. But this isn't the same Rapids team of yesteryear. Gone are the coaching staff and the players that most of y'all are familiar with. Chris Armas now at the helm of the Colorado Rapids. Chris Armas, 66 caps with the U.S. men's national team, CONCACAF winner 0205, played games with the Chicago Fire, had 214 appearances there, was a member of the inaugural LA Galaxy season. So this is a man who's very well respected in not only the United States as a player, but as a coach as well. Now, as far as LAFC is concerned, they have yet to win on the road. And that's been an Achilles heel for the black and gold. That goes without saying. Colorado Rapids looking to get things going coming into today's game. Not today's game. Jesus, it's Thursday. The game's already been passed. This past weekend, 10th in the West. Colorado looking to do some things, and boy, did they get going on some things, but not initially in the start of that game. I got to stop saying today, the start of last Saturday's game.
Right? Yeah, and you're right. I mean, Denny Bouanga came out on fire early and was pacing LAFC as the team was getting after it early. They were putting the pressure on, and Denny banged one off the woodwork in the seventh minute, and then soon after that, within the next 30 seconds, they earn a corner and the ball pops out to Bouanga at the top of the 18 and he just rips one. And Zach Stefan does everything he can do. He's super strong on the saves and tips it over the bar. And then on the ensuing corner kick, keeping the attack going, Edward Atuesta takes a short pass at the top of the box and just drills one far side, buries it into the side netting, and Stefan had no chance at this. And here we are 8 minutes in on the road in Colorado, and LAFC is up 1-0. And, it's the second straight game for the Colombian Atuesta that he buries one. He's getting his feet going, he's getting the ball in the net, and he's looking great. Throughout the middle of the second half, Matthias Bogusz and Bouanga continue the attack throughout the half and just can't get that second goal. And then on the 38th minute, Colorado's got a corner kick, and there's a really well struck corner kick. Comes short side to Moise Bombitu, and he equalized for the Rapids on his only shot of the game, and he buries it short side, and the game's tied 1-1. The LFC continues to make a solid push throughout the rest of the first half, and in stoppage time, those dang darn crossbars and posts, they're the death of LAFC in this game, and they banged another one off the woodwork as Christian Oliveira, who's not from Los Angeles, bangs one off the far post, and we go into the half one apiece.
Bombito had something to celebrate. His first goal ever in Major League Soccer on his 24th birthday. As beautiful of a goal as that was, we obviously have to highlight how it got to him. Two of the biggest signings that the Colorado Rapids had in the offseason, and you mentioned one, Zach Steffen, formerly of the, not formerly, part of the United States men's national team, was signed on as a member of Manchester City, loaned him out to Fortuna Dusseldorf, finds his way back in Major League Soccer, an exceptional keeper, and the Rapids are fortunate to have somebody in that. They utilized William Yarborough last season. They really upgraded as far as their goalkeeper is concerned. And Georgi Mihailovic, who had that corner opportunity that set up Bombito, another fantastic player. Here's a young man who's started off with the Chicago Fire, did some really good things there, ended up playing overseas and then back in Major League Soccer. And he had a really big impact on this game moving forward into the second half. You said it, Tim. Denis Bouanga was last year's Golden Boot winner. This year, he is the Golden Bar winner. He leads the league in shots, leads the league in shots on target. I got to imagine he's got to lead the league in hitting the post as well. He is deadly, but he's just not been as precise as far as his ability to find the back of the net. Only 2 goals he's had come on by way of LAFC's win against Nashville just the prior week, where he had a PK and then he smashed one home. Now, coming out of the locker room, not sure what Chris Armas said to his side. They have to be feeling pretty good to come back into this game, because LAFC's record, once they get the first goal of the game, they're really difficult to beat. If you go back to last season, they won 22 games over the course of all competitions anytime they have scored the first goal. They've only lost 4 games coming into Colorado where they scored first and then ended up losing. So LAFC getting involved early, very, very important type of a scenario. So let's move in to the second half. Look, we've got a little back and forth action going through. 53rd minute, Timothy Tillman on the break. Looked like he got knocked down from behind. No foul called there. And by the way, the pro referees back in full effect. Armando Villarreal, it was on as far as the official was concerned. Took a look at the replay. Nothing happened there. Timothy didn't seem too rattled. 54th minute, Bouanga blasts one, but there's Zach Steffen making himself another save. Had some nice buildups going in, but nothing to really transpire. Now, 63rd-ish minute, you had David Martinez subbing into the game for LAFC. The young Venezuelan who LAFC shelled a good chunk of change on comes into the game for Kike, that's what we call him, Christian Oliveira. And he got himself involved in the game relatively quickly. Had one shot early on in the 73rd minute, a few minutes after coming onto the pitch. Nothing transpired. Steffen got an easy opportunity in there. But then the 76th minute and his goal celebration, sipping tea. At least I would imagine that's what he was doing, was sipping tea. He breaks through the middle of 2 defenders, Sam Vines and Fernandez, and absolutely gets one past Zach Steffen. First goal of the game for the youngster. Fantastic. Big milestone moment in the career of a Major League Soccer legend. Kai Kamara, who recently signed on LAFC early that week, got himself involved in the game. The number 3 all-time leading scorer in Major League Soccer, a couple behind Landon Donovan and a few more behind Chris Wondolowski. So very cool to see Kai Kamara on there. 39 years old. He still looks like he's 20. 83rd minute, though, this is where things start to go a little haywire. Georgi Mihailovic has an opportunity, and he has his first goal of the season. Fantastic free kick taken by Georgi off of a foul that occurred. He equalizes it. Martinez gets a red card. That puts LAFC in a precarious position. And then 89th minute, Georgi Mihailovic's second goal of the day. Navarro had a nice cross into the box. Stuart Baines, who just checked into the game, headed it onto a platter. Mihailovic mashes it past Lloris. And the next thing you know, 3-2 Colorado Rapids win at home, finding themselves down early on in the game. Big win for them. Tough loss for LAFC.
Yeah, huge win for Colorado to come back after being down 1-0. Again, like you said, with LAFC having only lost 4 games ever after taking the lead, the Colorado's ingenuity, passing the ball, getting it down, and getting it behind Hugo Lloris. It was, unfortunately, it was kind of fun to watch from a Colorado aspect, and it was just devastating from an LAFC aspect to watch them mash a couple of balls right behind Lloris. And to watch that game, you could see it, and just to be denied by the woodwork time and time again. I know it's just a matter of inches, and it's just bending the ball a little bit to the left or to the right, but they've got to get that ball in the back of the net, and they got to do it somewhat quickly, or they're going to be, they're going to be down towards the bottom of the standings before we can blink an eye.
Yeah, Colorado gets their first win at home. LAFC's losing streak on the road continues. They're going to be up against the Galaxy, which we're going to preview towards the end of this podcast on Saturday, 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. And speaking of the Galaxy, they welcome their familiar foes, the Seattle Sounders, in a Dignity Health Sports Park. This is a long time battle, not long time rivalry. 49th encounter between these two sides. Seattle with the series edge going 19, 17, and 13. And I got to say something real quick. Seattle wearing those awesome Bruce Lee away kits. If you haven't had a good chance to take a look at their away kits, do yourself a favor and check them out. That kit to go along with their Jimi Hendrix jersey from a couple of seasons ago, Seattle's got it down stylistically as far as the kits are concerned. They didn't have it down stylistically against the Galaxy, but we'll talk about that. Third home game of the season, and it was played under very wet conditions, stopping conditions. I'm actually surprised this game was able to be played. Anytime that ball bounced on the pitch, you saw splashes of water. You hope that nobody was going to tear their knees up or their ankles up. 22,000 strong at Dignity Health Sports Park in a stadium that fits about 27,000. They had a good attendance considering how bad the weather was. 2 minutes in, great ball into Joseph Painsil from Gaston Brugman. He added a phenomenal pass. Painsil's shot would have beaten Seattle's keeper, Stephen Fry, but he just hits it off the post. Pulled to Denny Bwanga, if I do say so myself. 4th minute, though. That's all it took to get things going for the LA Galaxy. A goal, and it was done off of a beautiful give-and-go pass from Painsil to Ricky Pooch. Back to Painsil. Quick touch to Gabriel Peck, and he fires one on the near side, beating Stephen Fry for the first goal of the game and his first ever goal in Major League Soccer. A phenomenal goal by Peck. Brilliant ball movement between Painsil and Pooch. These teammates are showing years of chemistry, like they've been playing together with years of chemistry. They've only had a couple of games together, but you can already see how beautifully they're connecting with one another. These are scary forwards, scary wingers, and scary midfielders. Couple minutes later, Seattle gets a couple of attempts at goal. First one gets punched out by John McCarthy, but where they almost equalized was off of a great pass in by Jordan Morris to the Peruvian pistolier himself, Raul Ruidiaz. He just missed to the left of John McCarthy. It was a very close call. Another interesting moment to highlight, 37th minute, cheeky backheel pass from Pooch to Peck, but he's way off target on that mark. 45th plus third pass comes into Painsil on the left, but his shot goes right to the side of Stephen Fry. And that is your first half. It was fun, but you can tell it was an arduous task playing under those weather conditions. More importantly, that sopping wet pitch.
Yeah, to watch that game was just it. It was like playing when you're a little kid, when you're 7, 8 years old. It's a great time when you're running around in a t-shirt and you're telling mom that you don't want to come back into the house during the middle of the rain. But like you said, when that ball was landing and every time they ran and where they're going to take a shot and they're stomping on the ground really nice and hard, planting their foot, the water is just coming up all over the place. And again, with all the rain that we've been having, I was actually surprised that the pitch stayed in good condition most of the game. It didn't really degrade throughout the entire game. says something about the landscapers that are out there taking care of that pitch. Because from the TV, it looked pretty good. You get down low, and looked a little choppy, but the ball was moving reasonably well. They still had pace, but you could tell the guys were getting tired and they needed to make it to halftime. Uh, and then coming out in that second half again, the soggy field, just they continued forever. Uh, 65th minute, John McCarthy does really well on a Danny Musovsky header. I
Musovsky.
think Musovsky, and tips it over the bar. Great shot, really well done by John McCarthy to keep it out. And then later on, Albert Rusnak takes a feed by Nuhu and drives the shot just wide of frame, and the game continues to be one nothing in favor of the G's. In the waning moments of the second half, there's a great, beautiful play with Jordan Morrison gets a lovely give and go, and he just rips one, and it goes wide, and it seals the 1-0 victory for the LA Galaxy. And hard fought, soggy conditions, almost impossible to play with. But you mentioned it earlier. Gabriel Peck nets his first goal of the season, first game goal in MLS, goes the full 90, and the guy looked great to the very end. Even with trudging through 8 feet of water, looked really, really good. And it's the first win against Seattle since September 23rd, 2018. So really, really strong effort by the G's. They stay unbeaten, 3-0-3. And when do you think the last time the Galaxy, the LA Galaxy, was unbeaten through 3 games, Philly?
2010.
2010, when they were 5-0-1. Just and they look great in that 2010 season. They're looking great now, and uh, the Galaxy has just looked very strong. And to see Gabriel Peck come on like he has, I know he was a huge signing. We know that he was expected to do great things. And now that he's playing the full 90, I think the team has really, really come together. And like you said, the team is really playing with a lot of chemistry for having as many new guys on the roster as they do.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. He better be able to go the full 90. That kid's barely old enough to legally enjoy the nightlife in Los Angeles. But again, the chemistry between him and Paintsel and Pooch, it's very evident. And making other veterans of not only the team, but the league, the likes of Marky Delgado, they're looking really good. Gaston Brugman getting himself involved. John McCarthy had his first shutout of the season. So yes, they are looking very good. Now for Seattle had their opportunities, golden opportunities to equalize this game. Had it occurred early on in that first half, we're looking at a different game. Jordan Morris obviously missed that bunny. You can blame the weather conditions and the sopping wet pitch on his misdirection. But the play of the game was that save by John McCarthy in the 65th minute. That came up huge. Just goes to show you how solid of a keeper John McCarthy not only has been, but now is. The fact that he has a firm grip on a starter's position in this league for the first time in his career is giving him that confidence that he showed during the PKs in the MLS Cup final with LAFC against the Philadelphia Union. Now, the Galaxy they keep getting things done. They only had one goal in that game against Seattle, and that's all they needed. But this is a team that is number 2 in Major League Soccer right now with 13 goals. The only team ahead of them is Miami with 14. So one more, and I'm telling you, this is going to be a real tough team. If they can figure out things defensively, yikes. Supporter Shield is currently in their possession, but they're going to be going into hostile territory in a couple of days against LAFC at BMO Stadium for another version of what people like to call El Tráfico. I know a lot of people aren't thrilled about that name, but man, is it the best rivalry in Major League Soccer.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think the name of it is hysterical, and I love it. El Tráfico. If you're not from here or you've only ever visited here, trying to get just across town from Carson to BMO, which is I think it's only about 20 miles as the crow flies. It takes you sometimes 2 days to get there. So El Tráfico is a perfect name for it, and I'm excited for it. And I know you're not going to like this, but the Galaxy hold an all-time record against LAFC of 9-5-7. So, it's going to be a great game. We'll talk more about it here in a few minutes. But let's move on to the Empire Strykers. out here. They play in the top level of arena soccer in the entire world in the MASL. They play out here in the Inland Empire in Ontario at the Toyota Arena. And today we are lucky enough to have Israel Cisse, the captain. So let's bring in Israel and Philly. Take it away.
Yeah, our guest today hails from Sierra Leone, and he's made quite the journey in his professional career, moving to Maryland, then attending the prestigious IMG Academy, where he was classmates with tennis all-star Maria Sharapova. More on that later. You talk about the Galaxy. Our guest today played for the LA Galaxy. In fact, he was the youngest player in Galaxy history to make his debut at the age of 17 years of age and 168 days. Played for the U.S. Youth National U17, U20, and has had a long and outstanding career in the Major Arena Soccer League as a member of the Ontario Fury / Empire Strykers. It is an honor and a privilege to meet not only a scholar, but a gentleman and a phenomenal footballer, the captain of the Empire Strykers, Israel Cisse. Izzy, how you doing?
I'm doing good. What an introduction, I call it, Philly. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm doing amazing. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
It's so good seeing you. We've had conversations many times throughout the years. I just love your positivity, the fact that you're always smiling, enjoying life. But as far as life is concerned, primarily as a member of the Empire Strykers, this past season, to put it as nicely and gently as we can, has been challenging. In fact, the most challenging in the franchise 10 years history in the Major Arena Soccer League. You know, the first question I'm going to ask you probably puts you on the hot seat, but talk to us a little bit about your thoughts on this season, both positive and negative.
To be honest, it was a very, very difficult season. I mean, but for me, it was, me personally, it was, disappointing season for me. But, I have to come to the conclusion and realize that, we pretty much have a pretty young and inexperienced team. So that kind of cost us, a lot of games this year. But for me, it was good to see some of these young guys, coming to the end of the season. They end up being very, very good indoor players. Although it was disappointing, throughout the season, but it was good to see them improve, see them get better, and I think for next season and the seasons to come, I think these young players are going to be tremendous, and they're going to be the next stars of the MASL. But obviously, it's difficult at this moment, but in the future, these players are going to rise up and they're going to become the big stars. But obviously, disappointing season, but we are looking ahead, and hopefully next year we can be better.
No, absolutely. There's no losing if there's learning. And with the losing that occurred, hopefully there was a lot of learning. And we did see this team improve by leaps and bounds, especially considering how the team looked down at Corner Sports Arena against the reigning champion Chihuahua Savage to kick things off. But as far as a positive note, for you personally, you registered your 100th point in the Major Arena Soccer League. That's got to feel like a pretty good milestone for you. I mean, think about all that you've done and seen. Tell us a little bit about, how that feels, and talk to us about your thoughts on how the MASL has changed in the last decade that you've been involved in it.
The league has changed a lot. I think, the ownership, the new ownership people are really investing a lot in the league. Jeff, one of our owner is definitely a big part of that. So the investment and pushing for TV deals, and trying to do the right things to push the sports out there have definitely changed. So it's good for me to witness from the beginning to now how the league have definitely changed in a positive note. So I think the league is going to get better and better. And I think in the future, once we get the TV deal, hopefully sooner, the league is going to get bigger and bigger. And it's thanks to the new owners now, the people who are investing in the league. And I'm definitely looking forward to that, to like see us playing in like hopefully the major TV stations and things like that. But to see from where we started to now, it's been really, really good.
Yeah,
And
hey, Izzy. Hey, it's Tim. How are you this afternoon, man? Good to see you.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Good. Hey, you had mentioned the TV deal, and you guys got to be streamed on the Paramount Networks, Paramount Plus, Golazo Network that was streamed across the world, right? And there was a great fan base there. And you just mentioned it, that the ownership, seeing that Jeff is so involved in your team and he's the president of the league. What do you think is really the biggest holdback to having the network TV come and take care of this? Because next to hockey, it is one of the greatest sports to watch live.
I think it can only be Jeff, right? Jeff need the help from the other owners of the teams. I know Jeff. I know how hard he's pushing for this, but it can only be him. It have to be a collective, group going into this to make it happen. But I think they are heading to the right direction. Speaking to Jeff, seeing him every day, talking about this, passionate about it. I think it's gonna happen. We all know Jeff is a winner, and when he put his mind into something, he's gonna get it done. So,
Yeah, that's for sure. Jeff is definitely a winner, and when he puts his mind to it, he's going to get it done.
yeah,
And speaking about that passion, the community involvement that the Empire Strikers have is, I think, it's unrivaled with the amount of community involvement that they do. Talk a little bit about how that's one of the fun things that you get to do when you're not scoring goals for the Empire Strikers.
I mean that's the old goal for the Empire Striker. That's our main goal is to impact the community. That's what this team stands for. You know, Again, I go back to Jeff. Jeff's main goal is Jeff want to win. We want to win, but his message to us every time is it's not all about that. It's about the impact that you guys are making in this community. It's about the impact that you guys are making in this kid's life. It was like, to me, that's the biggest thing. Although I want to win, but the impact that you guys are making in this community, the impact that you guys are making in this kid's life, those are very, very important to me. So this team, is based upon that. That's our DNA. That's what we stands for, and is for me. I'm definitely all about that. So it's been really, really good to have an owner that passionate about that, and to have players that come in here that also have the same passion to impact this amazing community, and be a role model for the kids in this community. So it's been really good.
Yep. Izzy, we're approaching like our time at this point, and I know you have a lot of things going on, but you mentioned one thing. I just want you to address it really quickly. One of the biggest passions of your life is coaching. Why don't you just really quickly talk to us about the team that you're coaching, and talk to us real quick about the success you've had as of late?
Obviously, I mean, everybody knows that, when I'm not playing, I'm very passionate about coaching. Obviously, that's what I want to be after I hang the boots. I want to be a coach. So, I coach with Fury FC. The team has been going on for quite some time, and, I've managed, to develop, young kids to be amazing soccer players. For me, it's about giving back, because this game have given me so much. Everything I have, everything I own, I get it from playing this game. So for me, coaching is about giving back, trying to help the kids to get to the next level. because I know how beautiful this game can be. And I always tell the kids I coach, you can travel everywhere in this world playing this game, enjoying this game. This is a beautiful sport. This game have stopped war. You know, you have stopped war. In Ivory Coast, you know, the beautiful game stop a whole war. So it's, for me, it's more than a game, you know, because this is everything to me. So when I coach the kids, it's about giving them back, try to develop them, trying to get them to the next level. So I'm really, really passionate about it. And recently, one of my teams, my girls 2010 NPL team, we just won state cup, so we are currently the state cup champions. So we're gonna actually go to Colorado in July to go play national cup, which is amazing for these kids to be in that environment, to call themselves state cup champion. I remember when I was young, it took me years to even get close to play in state cup final. So for you to win it is the biggest tournament in youth soccer. So for me personally as a coach to win that, and for these kids that I coach to win it, to call themselves state cup champions, and to have the opportunity to go to Denver and go play in national cup, it's really, really amazing for me. It's amazing for the kids. It's amazing from the program that we have. And you know, I'm passionate about it. I love it. And it's been really, really good.
You can tell you're passionate about it. You were smiling ear to ear the entire time talking about it, more so than talking about what happened as far as the playing days are concerned. So I'm not going to bring this up because I know what the answer already is. Kind of alludes back to the last conversation you and I had at Toyota Arena. I better see you back wearing 23 on the turf. One final question, and then I really have to let you go. You talked about how football was good at stopping wars. In this case, this weekend, it's going to be starting wars. El Tráfico, LA Galaxy, which you were a former member of. You had a locker next to David Beckham coming into Los Angeles BMO Stadium to play LAFC. What's your score prediction, Izzy?
3-1 Galaxy. 3-1.
Ooh, all right. 3-1. You heard it from the captain of the Empire Strykers and former member of the LA Galaxy. Izzy, again, thank you so much for taking time to hang out with us on Soccer in 60.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure, Fillian. Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Right.
Izzy. Have a great day, buddy.
Bye.
Yeah, it's great seeing Izzy, just seeing that passion. And you know that when he's out on the pitch coaching, he's got that same infectious, and it's amazing. God, I'm getting all jacked up and I want to go play for the guy right now. And I'm 53. So it's fun to watch people like that be that passionate about what they do on a consistent daily basis, right? That's very hard to keep that type of energy up. But like you said, when he knows that soccer has given him everything, he gives everything back to soccer.
He's done and seen so much, going from Sierra Leone to playing in Maryland. And again, like if you don't know the IMG Academy, that is the premier academy for an athlete. When I mentioned he was classmates with Maria Sharapova, that's the caliber of athletes that he was surrounded by. And no kidding, he went pretty much from prom right to having a locker right next to David Beckham. Next time you see him, make sure you ask him about that experience. It is hilarious. Real quick, just to kind of wrap a bow up on this the season for the Empire Strykers. They finished their last game on Sunday against the Tacoma Stars. Unfortunately, it was a 6-5 loss in overtime. Very high competitive, spirited game. The thing to look out for was that Marco Fabian was on Golden Boot watch. Came into this game only 3 goals shy of tying Kansas City Comets' Zach Reggett as far as the Golden Boot leader in the Major Arena Soccer League. He had his opportunity to break it, but he did in fact tie it, scoring 35 goals, managing 12 assists on the season. Not too bad for your first year in the Major Arena Soccer League, and as a result, he gets to walk out this season, maybe not as a winner as far as the team's record is concerned, but individually, Marco Fabian had a fabulous year for the Empire Strykers.
Yeah, and with him coming back next year and then being part of MASL for a very long time, as Izzy said it, you've got a lot of young players that are going to do nothing but grow. And having Izzy on the team, having Marco on the team coming back, just that leadership is just going to be incredible. And expect great things from the Strikers. Do not expect them to only win 3 games next year. The Toyota Arena is going to be rocking next year, and you better get tickets early because it will start putting 6, 8, 7,000 people in that arena.
We sure hope so. Moving on from the beautiful world of indoor soccer, let's go back outdoors, heading into the NWSL. Angel City on the road against the Kansas City Current. Angel City still winless on the season, looking to compete against a very tough Kansas City Current team. And it started off relatively well. Tim, why don't you give us the first goal call?
Yeah, so as they're going out on the road, and Kansas City is not an easy place to play, especially with a lineup. They got a 4-3-3 lineup. They've got Temwa Chawinga. Sorry about that, Temwa. Chawinga on the left side at the top of at the top of the starting lineup. And in the 7th minute, Chawinga gives a great ball off to Vanessa DiBernardo, who one-times the ball on the short side into the upper 90. It is just, I know it's against Angel City, but it was a fantastic goal. Puts it upper 90. The goalkeeper has no chance, and the home side's up 1-0. And again, this is a team that had Sidney LaRue back in the starting lineup. So it was going to be a strong case. They had a lot of young players out on the pitch that can just run up and down. But to get a goal against them in the 7th minute was just tough. Chawinga continued to apply pressure as Angel City, as she, tallied 3 shots on frame in the first 20 minutes. So she was on fire. It was really hard to get her to be contained. There was a goal, an almost goal that Paige Nielsen came up with a great goal line header and to keep it out of the net in the 27th minute, to keep it a 1-goal game. And Kansas City was just all on it. And then late in the first half, in stoppage time, Ellie Wheeler of Kansas City lays off a ball to DiBernardo, who we talked about this a little earlier, me being from Michigan. She's from Brighton, Michigan. Plays a brilliant cross to Alexandra Spastra at the far post. Is just a beautiful cross, and she heads it home to make it 2-0. Little bit of controversy on it. They went to VAR, made sure that she wasn't offside, but if you watched it, you could see from the replay that she wasn't offside. And Angel City is down 2-0 going into half.
VAR looky-loo certainly had something to say about that opportunity, despite the fact that Angel City did have a majority of the possession. They made a lot more passes. They held on to the ball just a little bit longer than the Kansas City Current. The Current were far more dominating. I mean, they took it was 11 shots, two of them off target, 6 of them on target, so many touches in the box. They looked really, really good in this game. And 2-0, though, is one of those interesting scoring lines that in this world of outdoor soccer, not the worst kind of a lead, because all it takes is one, and that can spur the team in behind to go out there and fight for it. 3-0, different story, backbreaker. 2-0, though, not out of the question. Now, whatever Becky Tweed said at halftime to rally up the team, she certainly created a spark, because it only took 5 minutes coming out of the locker room for the Angel City FC club to strike. Claire Emsley had a great cross from outside of the box to a wide open Sidney LaRue, who had enough space where she could have driven a Mack truck through goal. She gets to claw one back. Scottish international Claire Emsley had a beautiful distribution. She has been lethal on set pieces. And now we got ourselves a ball game. And what a ball game it turned out to be, because a minute or so later, the Current turned things on. I had a funny line in there saying Kansas City turned on the Current, but alas, I fumbled over my words and wasn't able to get it out there for you. A minute goes in after Angel City scores a goal, and then, wow, 2-1. Bia assists Chawinga, top right corner. Great pressure by Kansas City, a great counter, and now we're looking at another goal in this game. 69th minute, Angel City FC gets close off the corner. It's Emsley again, another beautiful set piece scenario for the Scottish international, and she gets it right to Messiah Bright, who checks in just a mere 6 minutes prior, replacing the previous goal scorer, Sidney LaRue. She heads it, but she beat the keeper. It just hit the far left side of the post. 78th minute, another goal for Kansas City. Adriana Franch concedes a corner, and it's Emsley again taking the corner, gets it in the box. Paige Nielsen has a header, gets blocked, pings it to Ali Riley, who has her shot ponged through and to Madison Curry. She finishes off. Now Angel City has the second goal, and we're about to experience a little bit of deja vu, and I'll explain what I mean by that in a moment. 84th minute, same scenario. Claire Emsley on the corner has a brilliant distribution in the box. Paige Nielsen had a header that misses, but it finds its way onto the feet of Rocky Rodriguez, and she rampages it into the upper right corner. And we're tied. Or so we thought. VAR happens to catch the 17-year-old Kennedy Fuller offside, and it was close. The goal was negated, and this obviously takes the air out of the Angels' wings without a doubt. Why offside, you say? As the ruling goes, or at least to my understanding of it, as the ball comes off the defender, technically the offside should have been negated because of an intentional play. But it comes off the defender as a deflection. Wasn't controlled. It wasn't possessed. So it goes back to that original header. So hence the offside on Kennedy Fuller. It's unfortunate. I really had to work hard to wrap my brain around that. It was a gut punch. 11 minutes of stoppage. Kansas City took advantage of it. Wheeler with a long ball into the box, and Anderson didn't clear it properly as she would have liked. And it cost her big time as Bia seals it. Top right corner. That type of right corner on both ends of the pitch. Got a lot of work done. And as a result of that, Angel City loses in another match, a tough one. Angel City has yet to win a game, but their losses aren't coming, Tim, from getting outplayed. Maybe you can argue that Kansas City was a lot more effective and precise on their attempts, but they're really shooting themselves more in the foot, making mistakes, not so much getting outplayed by the opposition.
Yeah, and I would agree with you. And the problem with the offside rule as a referee that I've been refereeing for 15 years, the problem is they've changed the law of the game because there's no rules in soccer; it's only laws. Is that it's changed 3 different times in the last 5 years. They've rewritten it now. What is it? Because forever, the law was that if it was intentionally played by a defender and intentionally played, really a lot of the times will mean a deflection because they've taken the chance to move their foot or they're looking for it. And in this particular instance, I looked at that play and I'm like, well, clearly that goal should have counted for Angel City because whether it was inadvertently deflected, purposely deflected, you can argue that. But the way, as you mentioned, the way the law is written now, unless it's intentionally played, and again, the only opinion that matters is in the opinion of the referee. You can go to VAR and things like that, but at the end of the day, the center referee has final determination on whether or not that is an intentionally played ball. It didn't work out, but again, like you said, Angel City is not losing games 6-0, 5-0. They're playing really solid football. And at the end of the day, they're going to start getting it to go fall their way.
Yeah, it's still early in the season, so no reason to panic. They've very much been involved in all these matches, and it's not like they're getting routed. Angel City has the opportunity to take some time off, though, recalibrate and reset because they don't go back into action until the 13th, a couple days before your taxes are due. Next match on the road against the Chicago Red Stars, and that rounds out Angel City. Let's transition over into the USL. Orange County Soccer Club getting ready to take on FC Tulsa. Tulsa coming in having only played one game, beating the Las Vegas Lights by a score of 3-1. Orange County Soccer Club coming off their home opener 2-2 draw against Miami FC, and a fun, exciting game. We didn't see all that many goals, but Tim, why don't you get us started on the first half?
Yeah, so actually, you've got the first half today.
Oh, well, all right. Then I stand corrected. I'll take over for the first half. Now, 3 minutes in, Jafal, this guy, I'm going to be talking about him quite a bit. Had a shot that gets pawed away from the danger zone by FC Tulsa's keeper, Creek. 20th minute, former member of the LA Galaxy, Cameron Dunbar. And by the way, this kid shows some class anytime he dribbles. Had fancy footwork, fancy dribbling, getting a nice clear look at Creek. Has a curler on the right, but just misses. 3 minutes later, Orange County on the attack again as Chata, an aggressive effort, but off the mark. Where the tide turns, though, in that 27th minute, a goal and brilliant ball movement, I should say, by Orange County Soccer Club. After a series of swift passes, Chata connects with Jafal, and que golazo, amigo. What a beauty. He sliced through the defensive line like a first grader holding scissors, cutting through construction paper. That's all OCSC needed. That's all the goals you would see. And Jafal, Here's a young man who spent some time in Major League Soccer, 7 matches last season with Austin FC, 28 the year prior for DC United, and also a very stellar collegiate career. Former Pac-12 Player of the Year in 2021 with the Oregon State Beavers. And anytime OCSC scores, I got to tell you, I found myself rocking Pennywise on my commutes to work. Bro Him by Pennywise is what this team plays anytime you get a golazo. And so that was fun. We got to hear Bro Him at least once. 44th minute, Tulsa threatens, but Shuttler makes a great save, and Shuttler had a couple of solid saves. That's how the first 45 works, with the good guys on side and scoring to nobody's surprise. There we go. How's about that for rhyming and alliteration?
There you go. Yeah, and the first half was solid. You get that goal in the 27th minute, keeps them going, and you move into the second half, and it's again you've got the soggy conditions at Championship Stadium down here in Irvine. They had a rocking crowd of just shy of 3,600. Not a sellout, but with the rainy weather that we have had here in Southern California, 3,600 screaming people for Orange County SC. It was a great environment to go see these guys play. And coming right out of the locker room, you've got a great save by Michael Creek from a Cameron Dunbar shot in the 50th minute. So these guys are fired up. They're ready to keep this party going and get another couple of goals, because you know how the crowd likes Pennywise. And then right after that, Boubacar Diallo sends one in on Colin Shuttler, the keeper for Orange County SC, and he calmly makes a save. That was a very good shot on frame. Then within the next minute or two, Shuttler makes about 4 solid saves. The FC Tulsa team was really trying to pound one in, trying to get that equalizer, and Shuttler was just denying them at every chance. He made a really nice save on a Patrick Segrist shot in stoppage time at the end of the game, waning moments, and Shuttler gives Orange County SC their second win of the season to go to 2-0-2. Undefeated through 4 games. They're looking really strong in the championship. And with that, Colin Shuttler passes Patrick Rakowski for both wins and clean sheets in Orange County SC history. He now has 19 wins to go with 14 clean sheets. So as you called him a couple of weeks ago when we had him on the show, Colin shut out Shuttler, looking fantastic once again for OCSC this season.
Shut down and shut out. I love it. He's been playing phenomenally.
Yeah, a couple of other things. We can't be remiss with Brian Olowski played in his 100th match in a OCSC shirt, and now he leads the club. And he's tied for the lead with the great Michael Orozco that played a long time for the Orange County club. Again, their shutout streak was broken, but you know what? At the end of the day, you got 3,600 people in the stands screaming and yelling. It's a fun atmosphere to be in. And their next game is coming up this weekend. It's not at home, but it's at AutoZone Park against Memphis 901 FC. And you can catch that game on ESPN Plus this weekend.
Yep, Memphis lost they won their home opener against the Las Vegas Lights, but dropped their last 2 to the Indy 11 and Sac Republic on the road. As you mentioned, OCSC still undefeated, getting to share that distinction with Sacramento Republic and San Antonio FC. And yes, April 6th at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Orange County Soccer Club on the road against Memphis 901 FC.
It's going to be a great time. Tune in hard for that one. That's going to be a great game to watch. So let's talk about a little bit about this weekend's big matchup. El Tráfico with LA Galaxy heading over to BMO Stadium and taking on LAFC. This is going to be one of the classics. LAFC unbeaten going into the G's, going into staying at home. Galaxy coming into BMO, trying to wipe these guys out again, continue that their overall lead in the season series. How do you look at this game, Philly? And what do you think? What do you think the final score is going to be?
I don't care what anybody says. This, without a doubt, is the best rivalry in Major League Soccer. The amount of animosity it brings out from both fan bases is chaotic. Go to Twitter and just start paying attention to the banter that goes back and forth. There is a lot on the line, and it goes beyond bragging rights. You said it. The Galaxy have the edge with 9 wins, 5 draws, and 7 losses against LAFC. Going into BMO Stadium, always tough. And both sides sitting on completely different spectrums than they're normally accustomed to. LA Galaxy have not come out to this good of a start since 2010. In fact, this is probably the best Galaxy team that's come out of the gates since LAFC started their inaugural season in 2018. And this is also LAFC's worst start since starting things out in 2018. But this brings out the best in both teams. LAFC did win the last encounter against the Galaxy on September 16, 2023. By the way, Major League Soccer, make sure you update the info in there. You have the Galaxy winning 2-1 in that September 16, 2023 game. I know that wasn't correct. I've been there. I've been to every single one of these games, with the exception of the Zlatan game where he came off a flight less than 24 hours prior. But this brings out the best in both teams, and it is going to go down as a fantastic match. Galaxy have so much to prove against their rivals, and LAFC have so much to prove as well, not only to the Galaxy, but to the league as well, because a lot of people don't seem to be too afraid of LAFC right now. The Galaxy are the hottest team right now in Major League Soccer, but if anybody can quiet them down, would be LAFC at home. Most teams don't go into BMO Stadium and come out successful.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And especially if you get some of these guys like Belonga, not hitting the woodwork and putting it in the back of the net, LA Galaxy could be in trouble in this game. The passing has been efficient. Gabriel Peck has now played a full 90. And, I know that he's super young and I know that he's coming on strong. And you can just see some of these guys coming in and just really, really taking care of business. And Bouanga comes out, he puts a couple on the back of the net early. There's going to be some trouble for Galaxy to come back. Again, you said that 2-0 scoreline that it's one of the most unsafe leads in all of soccer because you get up, you get a goal, you get an insurance goal. Sometimes you get a little lax, you don't make as strong a pass. And again, all it takes is one goal, and that momentum changes the entire game. And we could see that early on, especially being in BMO and having the home side come out and play strong right away.
I look forward to these matches just because you do see a lot of fireworks, a lot of drama, a lot of crazy endings have come through. The banter going back and forth is that LAFC can't win the big game. The banter going the other way is that the Galaxy can never beat LAFC when it matters in the playoffs. So much riding on this game. But I do think we're going to get the best out of both sides. To me, I think the Galaxy have the better, younger, faster midfield than LAFC does. I mean, with Ricky Pooch being the linchpin between the back end and the front line, he's going to be a tough player. There aren't many people that could stop this kid in on a counter. And obviously now with the likes of Dejan Joveljic, who leads the team in scoring with 5 goals, Payne Sill and Gabriel Peck getting involved offensively, they're going to be tough. But on the other side of it, Denny Bouanga is absolutely going to decimate the back line for the Galaxy. The Galaxy's back line has been suspect at best. Strongest performance was just recently against Seattle where they shut them down. But ultimately, it was not only John McCarthy, but bad weather and bad pitch conditions that also shut Seattle down. If Denny can do what Denny does, and that's find the back of the net, the LA Galaxy are going to walk out of BMO Stadium with a frown on their face. If Denny's been doing what he's been doing this season, then the tale is going to go the other way around. But I do see a back and forth affair. I don't see any team particularly dominating. There's going to be flares. There's going to be fireworks. There's going to be chaos, drama, fights in the stands, beer showers, golazos, you name it. The best rivalry in Major League Soccer. If you truly love this sport and you truly love and support local soccer, you have to watch this game. 4:30 Pacific Standard Time on Apple TV or whatever else you can find it. Do not miss this match. We're going to have a lot of fun talking about it next week.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. I'm going to try and get to the game. And if not, I'll be watching it on TV. I think
Good
it's
luck,
free
man. It's
this
going to cost you a
weekend,
couple
too.
$100 to at least get in the building. Always the hardest ticket to get, even harder than MLS Cup.
Yeah, right. I know, right? You get to MLS Cup, it's $100 to get in. This one's going to be Scalp City trying to get through, online through authorized reseller. Sorry, didn't mean to say scalp on the radio. Um, but it's going to be rocking. And here's the best thing: it's supposed to be a bright sunny day here in LA on Saturday, so no rain in the forecast. The pitch should be in great shape, and it's going to be a rock and roll good time. Like you said, um, there will be a couple of beer showers had, especially when there's no less than 4 goals scored this weekend. I think it's going to be a very much back and forth. I think the goalkeepers are going to play exceedingly well. I think there's going to be a lot less woodwork hit this weekend than has been in the past month for either team.
That's fair. I would say the Galaxy have an advantage in the sense that they have John McCarthy. John McCarthy knows the tendencies of a lot of the players on LAFC, so they do have that going for them. But at the same time, LAFC has Denny Bouanga, and that's all they necessarily need. El Tráfico, let's see what happens. It'll be a good one.
Perfect. Well, let's get after it. Support your local soccer clubs this weekend. Enjoy it. Awesome. Thanks, Billy. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Thanks for catching us on streaming service. Have a great weekend, everybody. This has been Soccer in 60.